Starting the live stream. Hold on. All right, now it's good. It's going. Okay.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Bhutam Dhammam Sangham Namasami. So welcome everyone. We are here at the new Pasadi Vihara are standing in or sitting in for the Madhurini Sangha, and they're doing a Sangha Kama today. There's two new bhikkhunis to emerge in the world. There's going to be two new bhikkhunis freshly ordained today. And so we were invited to give the teachings today in the stead of the Ayya, who usually is very wonderful at sharing the Dhamma, is involved with the ordination. So she's not here and asked us. So we're going to speak about a teaching from the numerical discourses, and it's Anguttara Nikaya 10.2, and we're going to put on the share screen Bhikkhu Bodhi's translation. And so, should we put it? I've disappeared from the scene. So how do we?
Well, on their view, you're probably off on the side.
Okay.
The question is, how do we get it so that it's big enough to be readable? Is that?
I don't know. There's some way that you can. I guess so.
Good.
We could put it everyone, so that I'm off to the side along with everyone else. Okay. There?
I'm not
sure.
If
it's gallery, there are going to be some.
Right, but okay, so I see. Will that work for you?
I guess that's okay.
Okay.
That'll work. So everybody can be seen there. All right. So this is translated by Bhikkhu Bodhi as volition. And I also have Bhante Sujato's translation. This is from Sutta Central. Both Bhante Bodhi and Bhante Sujato's translations are on Sutta Central. So this is what we've pulled up. But I also have a device here where I can look at Bhante Sujato. So I'm going to speak about both translations because I think it's very enriching to see different translations of a word. There's this word, Cetanakaraniyasutta is the actual Pali name of the sutta, and the Cetana is sometimes translated as volition. It's an aspect of the mind, the active principle of the mind. And the karaniya is having to do with doing, actually, to do. One should do or must do. And but in the Pali, there's a word that says it's na. It's a negation of let me see if I get the Pali up here. Yeah. So the word is It's na chetana, Cetanakaraniyam. So the na negates it. So the idea is that there's no volition needed. And the way that Bhante Sujato translated is that one need not to wish. We do not need to wish. And this is because we are setting up conditions to foster positive qualities in ourselves. So I'll start reading this, and what I thought I would do is read through the whole sutta, and then we can go back, because if we start talking about it, sometimes we don't get through the entire sutta. So I think it's really important to see where this is heading. So we start out bhikkhus, but this can include all of us. This is a maybe assumed that the Buddha was speaking to more than just the bhikkhus here, and an assembly, bhikkhus, bhikkhunis, and the lay assembly may all have been hearing this teaching. But when you see a word like monk or bhikkhus, just think of it, the Buddha is also speaking to you. And I heard the instruction, just think of yourself as the monk. And that'll look at me. But anyway, so it says, bhikkhus, for a virtuous person, one whose behavior is virtuous, no volition is need to be exerted. Let non-regret arise in me. It is natural that non-regret arises in a virtuous person, one whose behavior is virtuous. So that's a silawato. Silawato is a virtuous person, someone who's ethical. I think that's how Bhante Sujato says, an ethical person who has fulfilled ethical conduct need not make a wish, may have no regrets. So we set up the condition for non-regret. And non-regret is vipatisara. So if we have through body, this is through body, speech, and mind, that we are have good conduct, that we're not doing anything that's harmful, that we're keeping at least 5 precepts. So when someone, for one who is joyful, no volition need to be exerted, let rapture arise in me. This is piti. It is natural that rapture arises in one who is joyful. And that is, it is natural that a person, that joy springs up when you have no regrets. I like that, springing up. This is hamojam, jayati. Actually, jayati is it's born. This is actually it's springing up or being born. The joy just is arises out of non-regret. There's nothing holding you back. For one who is rapturous, with a rapturous mind, no volition is need to be exerted. Let my body be tranquil. It is natural that the body of one who is rapturous, the mind is tranquil. So this is one of our favorite words in here. So there's piti upajati, rapture arises in one who is joyful, and then there's did I skip one? That, for one who is joyful, volition, no need is volition to be needed, let rapture rise in me. And then let my body be tranquil. And this is Kayopasambati. The body calms down or relaxes, it becomes quiet. But then there's Pasada Kayo, relaxed, calm of body. So well, Vihara is Pasadi Vihara. Just wanted to put that. But Pasada Kayo, a relaxed, calm body. It is natural for the body to calm when it's full of rapture. So we'll get, hopefully we'll get into this more. I'm just going to keep reading so we get, and then as the body has become tranquil, for one tranquil in body, one serene in body, there's other words that Pasadi has other, serene or calm, no volition need to be exerted. Let me feel pleasure. It is natural that one tranquil in body feels pleasure. This is sukha. So we've had the piti calming, the body calming, and then the sukha, which is it's not as kind of an ecstatic. It's a not a feeling, such a feeling in the body as just a more kind of this more peaceful happiness. Sukha is also translated as happiness. For one feeling pleasure, no volition need to be exerted. Let my mind be concentrated. This is samadhi. I think that Bhante Sujata says immersed in samadhi. For when your body is tranquil, you need not make a wish. May I feel bliss. And when when you feel bliss, you need not make a wish. May my mind be immersed in samadhi. So, so we're letting go. We're not trying to force anything. This is kind of a natural unfolding of things. We're just setting up the conditions. For one who is immersed in samadhi, no volition need be exerted. Let me know and see things as they really are. It is natural for one who is concentrated or who is immersed in samadhi or stillness to know and see things as they really are. Ajahn Ramali, I think also Bhante Sujata, but not in this one. There's a translation of which this is being yata bhutam janati pasati. So this is yata bhutam, and things as they are according to reality. I like that. Things according to reality. See, and so they see this pasati. Pasati is to see, like vipassana, it's a seeing, and janati is a verb for knowing, to know. So we're down to, for one who sees things as they really are, no volition need to be exerted. Let me be disenchanted and dispassionate. So that's nibindati and virajati. disillusioned and dispassionate is another, or disenchanted is also good, because like if we're enchanted or under illusion, and then virajati is a viraga, so it's a letting go of the passion that keeps us attached to things. For one who is disenchanted and dispassionate, no volition need to be exerted. Let me realize the knowledge and vision of liberation. It is natural that one who is disenchanted and dispassionate realizes knowledge and vision of liberation. So that's Vimutti Jnana Dasanam. Sachikaroti, that is to realize that these vision of liberation. This is an interesting way of phrasing this full liberation. Thus, because the knowledge and vision of liberation is the purpose and benefit of disenchantment and dispassion. Disenchantment and dispassion are the purpose and benefit of the knowledge and vision of things as they really are. Knowledge and vision of things as they really are is the purpose and benefit of samadhi. Samadhi is the purpose and benefit of pleasure. This is a sukha. Pleasure is the purpose and benefit of tranquility or calm. Tranquility is the purpose and benefit of rapture, piti. Rapture is the purpose and benefit of joy, and that's pamoja. Pamoja, joy, is the purpose and benefit of non-regret. Non-regret is the purpose and benefit of virtuous behavior. And that's through body, speech, and mind. Thus, everyone, one stage flows into the next stage. One stage fills up the next stage for going from the near shore to the far shore. So we just set the conditions in place, is what the Lord Buddha is saying. And Ajahn Brahmali calls this dependent liberation. So dependent on one thing, another wholesome quality is arising. So a matter of cultivating these wholesome qualities in ourselves and giving rise to these other qualities, so we can nurture each one as they arise. So we can open it now to discussion. Ayya, Nyanika, I want to ask you first if you have anything you would like to share about this.
Just that I love this sutta. This sutta has been like super dear to me for the last year or so in particular. And it really is that just beginning to really trust the Dhamma, that as I practice, I'm not left out. It happens to me too. You know, that when joy arises, then the next thing that happens, it goes to the bliss, and then it goes right through the steps. It's what happens. So that beginning awareness of it's just the Dhamma unfolding, I can get out of the way. It's super helpful.
So I guess we can. Or do people want to go through step by step, or would we just want to touch on some subjects as we go along? How would you like to proceed? We can start with virtuous behavior this is maybe where we need to have a little bit of volition to really cultivate our virtuous behavior.
Sadhu.
Well, and noticing when we've gone off track, I'm thinking, and then when we start observing that our through body, speech, and mind, our behavior is ethical, is how Bhante Sujata translates it. I don't know if anyone else has a better way of, but it's sila or sila. If we do things that are harmful in the world, then, or to ourselves mentally, then we may have regrets. So just the absence, as much as we can, abandoning the unwholesome, the more joy that will arise in our lives. Does anyone have a question or would like to speak about it? We don't have to go through it step by step because we already did. You have something you'd like to share? I see a hand, Richard.
Leave the words up, or do you want to close it?
Maybe we could leave the bit up, and we could scroll. You can see 9 out of.
That's good.
Are we? Yeah. Started non-regret. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Ayya. This word sila, translated here as virtue, also means habit. So when one perfects the sixth path stage of separating the wholesome from the unwholesome, so that one only has wholesome thoughts, this is that habit of mind. It becomes a habit of mind that nothing unwholesome arises in the mind. And so because nothing unwholesome arises in the mind, then one never has a regret for anything. Oh, I shouldn't have thought that or done that or said that, whatever, because it just doesn't happen anymore. So that's the 6th step on the path. The next sections there about joy arising. These next few sections are like perfecting the 7th step on the path, mindfulness. Buddha talks about how doing the breath meditation fulfills the mindfulness. And so these are all descriptions, like he describes in other places, of how the mind adapts itself as one is perfecting the breath meditation. And so that breath meditation then leads into the first jhana. So when one attains the first jhana and has this habit of mind, so that they're doing it in a habitual way, that's just the way their mind is now, they then attain the second stage of once returner. And as they go through the various jhanas to the point of getting into the getting into the no form experiences, they transition from the second stage to the third stage of non-returner. So that's why at the end it says, for one who is disenchanted and dispassionate, no volition need be exerted. Let me realize the knowledge and vision of liberation. It's natural that one who is disenchanted, dispassionate, realizes the knowledge and vision of realization. And then the next, well, actually, I meant the very end. Thus, bhikshus, one stage flows into the next, one stage fills up the next. We're going from the near shore to the far shore. So this is a description of going through the Eightfold Path, which ends in nibbana, the final experience of Cheta Vimukti and Pana Vimukti, a final experience of liberating the mind. And so when one becomes a stream enterer, they build the raft and they put it in the river and they step into the river. And then all these other stages are crossing across the river and then stepping on the far shore, that's Arahant. So this is all indicating here that kind of process where one is going from attaining what people like to call stream entry to finally attaining arahantship. Anyways, that's just my view. I just thought I would throw that in there. Thank you very much for listening.
Okay, thank you, Richard. Yeah, I think, yeah, where is that? There it goes. So it is a gradual path, and it's at the unfolding of the path. And there's a lot of ways of, there are different commentarial ways of describing what that we see in the suttas, but our actual experience is what's important of this path that we're cultivating and doing supportive conditions that help us along the path. So then it unfolds. Richard has a very good background of explanation of what's going on here. But we can experience it along the way. It may not all unfold all at once, but there is a point when then we will, these things will unfold on their own. And we can observe maybe weaker, stronger degrees of this whole process in our meditation. Does anyone else have some things to share, or they would like to questions they have about this sutta? You can see that this path has a lot of joy. It's like there's the pamoja is a weaker form, but it's based on our non-regret and just feeling of well-being. And if your mind is just at peace because there is no regret, and the happiness is it's natural to arise. I see Flo, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Is the knowledge and vision of liberation is that translated from like nibbana, or is it like stream entry, or is it like a different thing?
Well, the actual knowledge and vision is the realization. It's this nibbana, realizing nibbana. That's my understanding of it. It's like because the vision of liberation, to actually see it for yourself, it's talking about going from the far shore to the near shore, as was pointed out by Richard also. So this is my understanding of what it is, pointing to nibbana.
All right. That was all.
Vimukti Jnana Dasana.
Vimukti, yes.
Yeah, freedom.
That's the freedom. And I think we can experience some degrees of freedom all along. Richard has a hand again. It looks like, but and like I was saying, that to some degree, we may have some of this unfolding going on before full liberation, but there's degrees of freedom if we're not trapped by our unwholesome qualities, and we've developed, like Richard was saying, silas. Also, sila can also be like ritual, or like a repeated behavior for a particular purpose. And it can be a mistaken, you can be doing kind of empty ritual. But if you're doing things with care and mindfulness, and protecting your mind from unwholesome states, this is a form of sila, creating behaviors that are forward leading rather than harmful. So Richard has a hand again.
Thank you, Ayya. Based on Flo's question, you can see here in this list of 10 going backwards, right? So knowledge and vision of liberation is the purpose and benefit of dispassion and, I'm sorry, disenchantment and dispassion. But if you look down at number 7, it says the knowledge and vision of things as they really are is the purpose and benefit of concentration. This word concentration is samadhi, which is the 8th step on the path. So when you perfect samadhi in the 4th jhana, Buddha actually describes it as if you become sort of separated from the self-identification of the body. He says it's like a man standing near a totally crystal clear lake up high in the mountains. I don't know how many people have experienced it, but I've seen these type of lakes. And the water is so clear, he says you can see everything in there, the rocks, the plants, the little creatures living in there, and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's why it says knowledge and vision of things as they really are. That's that type of knowledge and vision. And once you see things as they really are, right, then that's what aids you to actually become disenchanted with everything and become dispassionate about everything. And also that's further seen as one goes into the what's sometimes called the rupa jhanas. They're not really jhanas, they're subsets of the 4th jhana. They're more intense, separating yourself out from the 4th jhana. And so that's why if you reach the 5th jhana, which Buddha discovered, and you let go of everything at that point, he says you either attain 2 things. Either you attain arahantship, which is this knowledge and vision of liberation, or you become a no-returner. So anyways, when you're reading the sutras, you have to be careful, because sometimes there's similarity, like it says knowledge and vision of liberation, and then down here it says knowledge and vision of things as they really are. But those are interconnected, but kind of slightly different things. So by studying the sutras enough, if you begin to remember some of these things, you'll begin to notice these slight, subtle differences between things, and it'll help you understand them better. Anyways, that's my view. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, there's that yatha bhutam, but it's instead of jnana dasanam, it says here janati pasati, and the things as they are according to reality. We can observe things like anicca, like impermanence, and there's things that are, it's very, if we are not wanting to really mask ourselves, but to really open up our eyes and see, then we can start seeing things clearly as they really are to a certain degree. And then, but yeah, it does take, it may take emerging from samadhi, from some really deep state of mental clarity, and then looking at the world, and then having the willingness to accept things as they are without flinching. And then there's that dispassion that arises from that we're not attached to things being other than they are. Like it would rather not that this body be impermanent, that this body be aging, that this body be causing me trouble with illness and such. But we start seeing, oh, this is the nature of things as impermanent, as not self, and then seeing the inherent dukkha and things, and we start turning away from what we've been grasping onto. So I think this is the importance of this and then this passion, like and it's also called disillusion or disenchantment, and that's like we've thought that I always use this. It's not a simile, but we thought that the frog was a prince, but it's actually a frog. So we're disillusioned. We realize that this illusion we had of things being other than they are, and so we stop clinging. So we start seeking something greater than this limited existence. There's something that's beyond this. And then we can be at ease too, that this is just the nature of things. It's just natural. But the beautiful thing about the sutta is it's also saying it's very natural to have this unfolding. It's natural for joy to arise and rapture. And it just keeps becoming deeper and deeper as we go along and become more at ease instead of struggling against reality, instead of being at war with reality. We start seeing things according to reality and being at ease with that. And they're talking about liberation. The final result or unfolding is liberation of the heart or mind. And that's the beauty of it, because we don't have to hold on to what's impermanent and dukkha and not really ours in the first place. But but in the meantime, we're experiencing a lot of joy. We can experience joy, and we're not going to lose. It's not that we're going to lose that joy. We're not going to lose that happiness. We'll find it'll be a deeper happiness. It's not dependent on conditioned things. Do you have anything to add to that, Ayya?
Well, just about the losing aspect of it. It's because when we've got the nibbidity, the nibbida, that disenchantment. Another definition of that is there's a kind of a letting go is actually another when you look at the definitions on that one. And it's something that naturally unfolds. People talk about, oh, well, I'm afraid that, I just won't be engaged anymore. And it's like, you won't want to be engaged anymore in that way of stickiness, where you're attached to the outcomes of things. It's actually, you can move through the world with that joy internal, unattached, and able to be far more at ease while you're doing whatever you're doing. So when people say they're concerned about not being able to be with friends and these kind of things, it's actually very different. It's that the joy is naturally within you, and you're able to be with somebody in a very different way. And you're not going to cling to it. You're not going to be attached to it. You're not going to be stuck with it and sticky with it. There's really no need for, I think from my personality type, I could insert into this sutta, there's no need to be afraid of this. There's no need to be afraid of that. There's no need to be afraid of this. Because as the Dharma naturally unfolds, it's beautiful in the beginning, beautiful in the middle, beautiful in the end. So the unfolding has this joy and this letting go. And it's only where I get in the way that it starts to feel problematic.
There's a couple of suttas on either side of this. Number
Right.
1, and it's called "What is the Purpose?" And that has the same unfolding. Just as the end of this sutta, it says, so one stage flows into the next, and then it says here, knowledge and liberation is the purpose and benefit of disenchantment, dispassion, and so on. And then the next one is called vital conditions.
I love that name. And there's a series of like 3 of them, I think.
Vital conditions. So it's a vital condition for the next stage. So if you think about vitality and aliveness and awakening, so it's a path of joy, even though it may sound kind of scary, or there is that potential if we put the conditions in place. So I'm wondering if I could hear from anyone else. Is there someone else that would like to speak to this? Are they seeing more joy in their practice? Are they seeing things unfolding for themselves? I see Christine, it looks like has put the camera on. Would you like to say something, Christine?
Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I just did a lot. I went to a 10-day Vipassana meditation course just to get introduced to Dharma, and I'm just on the path. And I just wanted to understand a little bit more of my condition, in the sense that I feel I just prefer to be by myself. Of course, I have children and a family, but I don't seek attention from other people, or like my happiness is within. But sometimes I feel like, is that normal? Because, naturally you observe the world and everyone needs each other. But I feel I don't seek others like need to be. I'd rather be by myself, or doing meditation or doing spiritual practices. But I don't know if that's okay in the sense, I want silence all the time. But I'm okay with the distractions because I have children.
I can see somebody is with you right now.
That's
Yes, hello there. Yeah, I think they're.
Hi.
Hey.
Wait, how are you doing? My sister Bella, she's gonna be going to the yeah, she's gonna be going to a 1 day, like she's gonna learn like Anapana breathing and get started as a child. So, I just feel like with me, I want to like spread it to the family and then spread it to the world. So that's Kalea.
Yeah, it's good to have a balance. I mean, it's natural. I don't think there's anything wrong about wanting to be quiet and wanting to be by yourself. I think I can speak because I'm a monastic, and that's something I really enjoy myself. you know, if somebody said, oh, there's a cabin in the woods and you can just be there for a whole month and no one's going to bother you and we'll bring you food. I'd like, yay. And sometimes that happens and I'm very overjoyed. And so I was a parent too, and I know that's very challenging to get any time to yourself. So when you do, I think it's good to have that the quiet time for meditation, and it's just really natural to enjoy that. And and that's I would say good on you is what they say in Australia. That it's you're very fortunate to be able to appreciate that and to have had that experience, to be able to get away. It sounds like you had some time away for a Gowiga retreat. So just that when you're with your family, enjoy your family, and when you have the opportunity to be by yourself, I just cherish that too. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. That's from my experience and from what I know, is that there's nothing wrong with that.
Thank you.
The stickiness of the attachments goes away. But the heart connection, that the capacity to show up for your family, that can be good. And so you nourish it by having the space and silence. So what falls away, that's what I was trying to mention earlier. What falls away is the stickiness, the grasping, the clinging. And then you'll be left with a spacious heart.
Yeah, and it's really one of the things with parenting is that children are going to grow up and they are going to want to go off on their own. And if you don't have that attachment, then you can let them grow. You can let them mature. You can let them become independent. And so then there's this, there'll be this mutual you know, time that you want to spend together, and there'll be the time that you're happy to be on your own. And that'll just happen naturally without the clinging.
Depending on how your family develops in their each individual in their practice, I stayed with a family that the mother wanted to have a month of retreat, but still needed to get the children to the swim lesson in the school, make the lunches, this kind of thing. I think the youngest was about 8 and the oldest, there were 2, 10 or so. I'm not a great judge of age though. But they were old enough to understand, but not old enough to take care of themselves for sure. And the family, the father and the children agreed to give their mom a in-house retreat. And so she got to be in silence, even though they still had their activities and things. And she would drive them to the place, and she would make the lunch and do those things. And they were supportive of her to be in silence. So it is possible. But that was an amazing thing to witness. It's not socially normal, but it is the normal unfolding of the Dhamma in a family.
I totally agree with you, because when I went away for 10, it was actually like 12 days. I was away and I was silent. I felt like I lived like a nun for like those days. And, you know, you don't realize the beauty of being silent. And when I came home, my children didn't even like they didn't want to like miss me. There was no attachment. They were like, okay, mom, you had a good time. And everything went back to normal. It wasn't like any pulling and tugging. It just felt natural. And when I was away, I didn't like I miss them, but I was okay with being by myself. Like I wasn't thinking like I have to call them. I was just so detached because I knew that fine, you know, but you know, I didn't realize that would have happened after. You don't, because when you're in the moment, you don't think that you can let go of that attachment. But when you do, it was like, wow, like I can do maybe longer in the future, you know? So it was just really humbling experience.
That's wonderful.
So that's great. Yeah, that's really great. So hopefully you'll have an opportunity like that again in not too far future. And it sounds like your family's supportive of that, so that's great. So they're just finding that balance of having some time to yourself and then being giving to your family as well.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So is there anyone else that we haven't heard from yet that would like to say something? Experiencing joy in your practice. This is a good sign if you're feeling a joy. And if you're not, just be kind to yourself and just look at what's the conditions here that are happening there. If I'm still experiencing dukkha, Ajahn Brahm says, ask yourself, what am I wanting? Because the tanha, that wanting, that desire is a cause of dukkha. So can I let go? Is it possible to let go? Is it possible for me just to be at ease? Is it possible for me to forgive myself if I haven't been acting so well? And seeing the dukkha and not acting so well, and said, is there any behavior that I might need to be changing in myself? And this is the thing with when you start with the top of the list, and then if there's this unnatural unfolding that comes, what are the conditions that I could put in place so that that ease can come, that pamoja can rise up? And sometimes just understanding helps too.
Ayya, it's Marilyn. I can't find my hand to put up.
Okay, that's fine. See, please speak.
Well, I was wondering about the part, I can't read the screen because I'm having some eye problems, but where it was talking about the volition and not, if you don't have it with joy, it'll fall away and then you get your happiness or sukha. Part of continuing my practice is the joy I have in my practice. When I practice, get the opportunity. So I'm wondering about the subtleness of letting go of joy and having it, it seems like you're tamping it down, the emotions. Is it to get rid of the attachment to it? I mean, there has to be, I don't know, but I'm thinking if you don't have some sense of joy in your practice, you wouldn't want to continue practicing.
It's not you're forcing anything away, or it says there's no need to wish, or there's no volition needed. And what's happening is a transformation. So we're starting out with the pamoja, which is actually it's a form of joy, but it's not as strong as the piti, which is a more kind of vibrant, felt in the body. It's called rapture. So it says it's natural for joy to rise when there's no regret, and it's natural. No volition need to be exerted to let rapture arise in me. So see, there's this unfolding that's happening. It's not like I'm getting rid of joy, because there'll still be the joy in your life, but when you're in meditation and you have no regrets, and then that first feeling of joy arises, and then it kind of bubbles into a feeling of rapture in the body, and then it calms, and then it softens. That's a good, softens.
And sampana is the completing. So it's like the joy has completed.
So
it's
okay.
And then so
she's looking at the Pali terms, and there's like, when you look at the Pali, the English sometimes is very limited. description of what's going on. But it's like we're saying, it's an unfolding, it's a developing, it's a so it's, and when you get off the cushion, you may still have pomoja, you might still have a kind of joy, just this happiness of the mind being at ease because of no regret. But you may not be having the experience of the piti, which would be actually, this is arising before the samadhi, but it's an element of samadhi of the first jhana. And the tranquility or the calmness of the mind. Yet you notice there's equanimity isn't mentioned here, but the calming that's the akin to the equanimity, the upekkha. So the PT is very vibrant and energetic, and then it calms, it completes.
Yeah, so literally it's a succeeding in or completing or fulfilling.
So it's fulfilled. Yeah.
The joy has reached its you've successfully been through joy. And so then it naturally falls into whatever joy is the precondition for.
And so it's like this different stages. So it's like I'm saying, you haven't it's not like you've kind of eliminated it, abolished it, and it's never, these different experiences aren't going to arise again. It's just that it's maturing.
Ah, that's beautiful. Yeah.
So that it's maturing into a more of a calm, but then there's the sukha, and the sukha is described as pleasure. Bhante Sujato says, it's it, sukham vediyati, the experience or feeling of sukha, which he describes as bliss. And I didn't see it in the Pali, but I think it's because of Bhante Sujato's own experience of things. He would argue that it's you would describe it as bliss. So you're going from the calm, the piti calms into a blissful state.
I think he's using kind of the 70s, 60s, 70s definition of bliss. Yeah, man, I'm all blissed out.
Well, yeah, that,
I
when I
think
was
it's more refined than that. So so it's not that you forcefully push away joy or happiness. If you're experiencing the PT, it's going to calm into the experience of. Okay. She's warning me about a cough medicine that she's giving me. I
gave the wrong cough medicine.
It might be we both are recovering from colds here. So yeah, it's and it's a maturing or a gradual, like he's talking of a development, a flow that's happening from one thing to the next. And as I was saying, there's these words that are unfortunately translated into English words that might turn people off, like nivida is sometimes translated as revulsion, but it's if you see things really clearly, then you're losing your attachment to things that are innately causes of suffering. And so you understand that clearly. And then nibbida is also described as turning away or losing interest.
Losing interest.
Losing interest. And it's kind of like a child who had this great toy and it thought that was the greatest thing on earth. And suddenly they outgrow it.
Yeah.
It's more like that because you understand, okay, this is, really not what it's cracked up to be. But then you're starting to have joy in things that aren't based, that aren't conditioned, that aren't impermanent and innately suffering. And the joy is coming up internally instead of based on sensory stimulation.
Thank you very much.
I hope that is helpful. Yeah, so no need to let go or force away or something.
Well, what made me think about it, I started meditating when I was in my 20s and then stopped that and got into other things. And so coming back an older person with more experience maybe, because when I started, I used to just like PT, it was incredible. You know, I would just almost get up from the cushion laughing and walking and everything was wonderful. And, you know, and you said it was an old word, so like, you know, far out or whatever you want to say, but, you know, it was really amazing. But my life just took different turns, and coming back now, I have, I think, more of a happiness. You know, it's not, it's subtle in a way, but it's more, it's quieter, but it fills you up more.
So it's a deeper, kind of a deeper joy that it's not, yeah, like that ecstatic joy. But yeah, it's not just for an experience either. It's like, it's for the deepening of our wisdom and our seeing things clearly is what this is leading us to. And then just being at ease. This is the nature. It's the nature of things.
Thank you. I love that word, being at ease. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Marilyn, for sharing that. I'm wishing you all to have see Elaine there. Did you have something to say? Yes.
I was thinking about it, and I don't know if I actually raised my hand. So I think you asked me before I raised my hand. Do you have examples or an example of clear seeing? And Marilyn, I kind of feel like you as well. I felt really blissful years ago when I started meditating, and I think that was the hook that kept me going. And then the Dharma started playing out in my life, if that makes sense. And I started seeing benefits there, and that's what kept me in. But clear seeing, yeah, I'm wondering if you can give any examples from your own life, or is that too much to ask?
Clear seeing in my own life. Yeah, it's a gradual path for me, and what I see clearly is the causes of dukkha and how I cause myself suffering. And then I can see, when I see that really clearly and abandoning those causes, then I can see that I'm much happier. So this is a one really direct cause and effect that's at a coarser level than what they're talking about, I imagine, in the sutta. And it's something that I probably, it probably couldn't be described. It's one of those things that we have to experience for ourselves. But
Is it like me seeing, sometimes speech is the one that I really have a hard time with. I have great intentions. Maybe it's easier one-on-one, but when I get into a group of people, then there's this tendency to slip. But I see it happening, and hopefully I'm catching it. So I guess that would be clear seeing.
So we're talking about
Are you speaking about the clear seeing that they're talking about in this sutta, or clear seeing as in Sampajana? The Sampajana, the general sense of clear seeing is something like what you're saying now. You know, you're catching
in life.
it. Yeah, in life, you taste it, you know it, you're like, oh, it's like that. Oh, those are the characteristics of this, and you can hold and remember it.
Yes.
What they're translating as clear seeing in this sutta is slightly different than that. It's like the ultimate awareness of reality at its like breakthrough. I get it. Nibbana.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
But
Thank you.
the thing is that according to reality, how they are, and you start, one of the hardest ones is non-self. If you're looking at the 3 characteristics. Excuse me. But I think the seeing gets more and more clearly when you're looking at dukkha, for instance. Sorry.
Well, with illness, this morning you were speaking about that. I have something happening now too, and I thought you were just right on with, you don't stop practicing because you feel sick, right? This is maybe a time to embrace it.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So I was really sick with food poisoning once, and then I could feel my entire digestive tract. I mean, I was aware of it because of the illness, and I just used it as a suba practice. I would just use that time for meditation. I was just laying there experiencing the body. And then yeah, so just not wasting any moment, and just instead of turning you turn towards what is how things actually are, and turning away from the disillusionment. I mean the illusion, turning away from the illusion, and to be able to see clearly things on their own terms as they are. And then there's a relief there because you're not fighting against reality. You're not fighting against things as they are. And then there's it's that's this a small aspect of liberation. And you've got something yatabhutanyana dasana.
And so that one leads to the dispassion, just exactly as you were saying, which then leads to the vimutti jnanadasana.
And this is a different sutta you've pulled up.
This is just the next sutta. It's just giving it in a slightly different wording.
Yeah. So so the sati sampajanya is what you were talking about earlier, about seeing, aware, being aware of the speech, and being aware of I think if your awareness becomes more and more quick, you catch it before you this habitual pattern, you start changing the habit patterns. And then you before you speak, you're aware about what you're going to say before you speak. And then you go through, okay, is this just habit, or is this something I clearly want to be speaking about? And then seeing that more and more will help with changing those habit patterns to the more beneficial habit patterns. So I hope that's helpful. As this is the best of my understanding, and it was still a work in progress. But I think the beauty of the sutta, there's the two dual beauty is that we can put the causes into place. And I think that deep study, like Richard was talking about, is important as well. This is a cause to help deepen our understanding. And just being patient. Just being patient and accepting of things as they are. And working on abandoning the unwholesome as much as possible. That's going to set the whole thing in motion. Actually, the more we can develop, or the more they'll allow the wholesome to develop, all these joyful states to develop. I know I'm a much happier person than I was before when I started the path. So I know that joy in the path is possible. And I appreciate all of your kind attention today. Do you have anything else you'd like to add? Yeah. So I can wish you all well and progress on the path. So we can we don't have a big altar here at Pasadi Vihara. We do have a small Buddha image. If you have a rupa in your own home, or you can just join us in bowing if you care to. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddham Bhagavantam Abhivademi Wakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Thank you all for your kind attention and your participation.
Thank you,
Sadhu,
Ice.
sadhu,
Sadhu,
sadhu.
sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Venerable.
You're very welcome. And
Oh, we have to unshare it, I think, before we can stop the video.
okay.
Sadhu.
Thank you.